One of the biggest concerns people have in a second offense DUI circumstance is anyone facing a second offense DUI knows that it's serious. A second offense DUI is more than double trouble. First offense DUI, for example, is only punishable by a maximum of 93 days in jail, whereas a second offense DUI carries a maximum possible jail penalty of up to 1 year in jail. Of course, our goal is always to avoid jail, but there are also other consequences to a second offense DUI that are very serious, like, for example, the mandatory revocation of your driver's license. Under Michigan law, anyone convicted of a second DUI within 7 years of a prior must have his or her driver's license revoked, and that revocation lasts for life. It's not a suspension. Person loses their license and can come back 20, 30, 40 years later and cannot get back on the road until he or she files and wins a Michigan driver's license restoration case, with one very good news exception. If someone facing a second offense DUI applies for and is admitted into a sobriety court program, that judge can override the mandatory revocation of his or her driver's license and allow that person to get back on the road. This is absolutely huge. It saves thousands of dollars in legal fees. It saves years of waiting and thousands more dollars in hooking up alternative transportation over the course of 3, 4, 5, or even more years. Now, to get into a sobriety court, you have to want the help they offer. In other words, sobriety court programs are rehabilitative in nature. They want a person to say, look, I recognize I have some kind of a problematic relationship with alcohol. I'm ready to stop drinking. Can you help me? And in exchange for your participation in those classes and that counseling and whatever else is required, the judge will then grant restricted driving privileges. Here's the rub. Even if a person doesn't get into sobriety court, under Michigan law, anyone convicted of a second offense DUI within 7 years is presumed to have an alcohol problem and is going to be ordered into counseling anyway. So it makes little sense to do counseling not in a sobriety court program and not be able to get a license, rather than to seek admission to a sobriety court program and at least be able to get back on the road, rather than wait 3, 4, or 5 years to be able to drive legally again. Our office has extensive experience with this. Getting into sobriety court is difficult enough. Many times the court where a person's case is pending may be full, so we can seek a transfer to a different court. Sometimes people find themselves in a court that doesn't have a sobriety court program. Same thing. We can seek a transfer to a court that has a sobriety court program. We've been successful in doing that hundreds of times and have even had cases transferred across county lines so that our client could participate in and complete a sobriety court program, get back on the road sooner, and save thousands and thousands of dollars in the meantime. No lawyer can do more than help a person produce the best result possible, and that's what my staff and I do each and every day.